I've seen this happen once or twice in our community, but it is very rare. KDP publisher builds up their catalog, they've got 4, 5, 6 books live, and royalties are coming in. Things are finally working. And then they get an email from Amazon, their account has been flagged. Amazon removed their books and froze their royalties. They had no idea they'd done anything wrong. They thought they were playing by the rules. The mistake wasn't malicious. It was something buried in the publishing agreement that they clicked through without realizing what they were agreeing to. Copyright on Amazon KDP is not complicated, but there are a few places where people make mistakes that cost them everything that they've built. I'm Carla Marie. I've been in the KDP space for over a decade, and I've helped more than 16,000 students build publishing businesses through Fiction Profits Academy. And in this video, I'll be walking you through how to deal with copyright on Amazon KDP step by step. Every time you publish a book on Amazon KDP, you go through a process. And somewhere in that process, there is a line that says, I own the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights. You click it and you move on. Most people don't think twice about it, but that click is a legal statement. You are certifying to Amazon that the words, the cover images, any translated content, basically everything in that book belongs to you and you have the right to sell it. Amazon's own IP policy makes the consequences very clear. If you upload content you don't actually own the rights to, Amazon can remove your book, take action on your account, and withhold your royalties. And yes, this includes royalties you've already earned. Now, owning your rights does not mean that you need permission to use popular romance tropes. So enemies to lovers, billionaire romance, forced proximity, second chance, none of those are owned by anyone. The reason goes back to how copyright law actually works. Copyright only protects a specific original story, like the actual words that someone wrote, the specific characters they built, the particular way that they told it. It does not protect the underlying formula. So 10 different authors can all publish a small town second chance romance this month, and every single one of them is doing something perfectly legal. The story you commission with your tropes, your characters, your plot, that belongs to you. Where people actually get into trouble are 3 specific places. Let's go through each one. Mistake number 1, working with a ghostwriter with no contract. A lot of KDP publishers use ghostwriters, and that's completely fine. It's how the whole model works. You provide the niche, the tropes, the direction, and the ghostwriter produces the manuscript. But when someone writes something, copyright automatically belongs to the person who wrote the words, not the person who paid for it, not the person who came up with the idea, the person who physically created the work. And under US copyright law, the only way ownership transfers to you is if there's a written agreement that says so. Specifically, either a work for hire clause or a copyright assignment clause, signed before any writing occurs. Without that, your ghostwriter may technically still own the rights to the book that you paid for. Think about what that means in practice. You go back to that rights checkbox in KDP, I own the copyright and hold the necessary publishing rights. But if there's no contract transferring ownership to you, then clicking that box is not accurate. And if Amazon ever asks you to prove your rights, which by the way, they can and do sometimes, a payment receipt from Upwork is not enough. You need documentation. So the fix for this is simple. Every single time you hire a ghostwriter on any platform, you need a written agreement in place before they start writing. And that agreement needs to include either a work for hire clause or a copyright assignment that clearly states, once payment is made, all rights transfer to you. And on Upwork, you pay writers in stages called milestones. So before you release that first payment, make sure you have that contract already there that includes language that transfers the copyright to you. If you're using a different platform, same rule. Get it in writing before any work begins. And honestly, that's the easier one to fix. Mistake number 2 is trickier because the person responsible for it might not even realize they're the one who has to own it. Mistake number 2, AI content without disclosure. As of right now, Amazon requires you to disclose AI generated content every time you publish or update a book. This is not optional, it is a direct requirement in Amazon's content guidelines. So it covers 3 things: AI generated text, AI generated cover images, and AI-generated translations. There is a checkbox in the KDP upload process that asks about this. It defaults to no, and if any of those 3 things apply to your book, it needs to be yes. Since you're the publisher, disclosure is your responsibility. If you use AI or your ghostwriter used AI to generate their draft, you didn't disclose that and you uploaded the book, you have just violated Amazon's policy. Not the ghostwriter, you did. So if you're working with a writer, ask them if they used AI to help generate the manuscript. You have to be very specific about it. You have to say something like, did you use any AI tools to write this manuscript, including drafting, AI-assisted editing, or content generation tools? And if the answer is yes, then you disclose. And that's it. So being transparent about AI use, it does not hurt your book. Amazon allows AI-assisted content. What Amazon does not allow is hiding it. So make it a standard part of your process so you don't forget. Don't think that you can get away with it either. Amazon has detection tools. If they flag undisclosed AI content in your book, the consequences can go beyond a single book removal. Repeated violations or serious cases can result in having your account suspended. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, I've got the contract, I'll ask about AI, I'm covered. And for the first two mistakes, you would be. But the next mistake doesn't come from what you did. It comes from what someone else on your team did, but the liability still lands on you. So mistake number 3 is using content that belongs to someone else. And this shows up in 2 places, your cover and your manuscript. And both of them matter. Your cover designer is finding images somewhere, stock photo sites, AI generation tools, their own library, and not all of those have licenses that allow commercial use in a published book for sale. When you upload that cover and click the rights checkbox, you're stating that you have the right to use every image in it commercially. And if the license on one of those stock images doesn't cover that, you have a problem, even if you had no idea. So ask your designer every time, do all images in this cover have commercial use licenses for a book sold on Amazon? And get the answer in writing. If they can't give you a clear answer, that's a red flag worth following up on. This one surprises people. A ghostwriter puts a song lyric at the top of a chapter as an epigraph, or a character quotes a line from a famous book, or a character listens to a song and the writer includes the actual words. So song lyrics are almost always protected by copyright. It doesn't matter how short the quote is. It doesn't matter that it's in a novel and not being sold as music. Including even a single line from a copyrighted song without a license can be a violation. Amazon's own content guidelines say it plainly. Content containing lyrics from songs managed by copyright management companies cannot be published in the Kindle store. The fix is simple and it goes in your writer's brief. Tell your ghostwriter the manuscript must contain 0 copyrighted song lyrics, 0 poem excerpts, and 0 direct quotes from other published works. No epigraphs pulled from real songs. No in-story references that include actual lyrics. If your writer wants to include a song in the story, they write something original or reference a song by feel without quoting it. That is completely fine. It's hard to catch this in a manuscript read-through if you're moving fast. So the best and safest way is to rule it out at the brief stage. So before writing begins, and then ask the writer to confirm these again after each submission. Now, what happens if Amazon flags you? In most cases, when Amazon identifies a potential rights issue, the first thing you'll get is an email. They ask you to confirm your publishing rights, and they give you a window to respond. If you have a clean contract, you respond with documentation, and usually the issue will be resolved. That's the most common outcome for someone who's simply unaware of a rule but was otherwise operating in good faith. But if you can't provide documentation, or if the violation is serious enough, or if you keep getting flagged, the consequences escalate. Your book gets removed, your royalties can be withheld, and in serious cases, your account gets terminated. Make no mistake, a terminated KDP account is not just a slap on the wrist. It means losing access to every book you've published, every review that you've earned, and every royalty stream that you've built. And there is no appeal process that reliably reverses it. These may be very small oversights, but they have huge consequences. That's why we've built the FPA system the way we did, like the milestone-based contracts, writer briefs with explicit content guidelines, and checklists before publishing. These are all for your protection. Now let's go through your copyright checklist. Before every book you publish, run through these 5 things. A ghostwriter contract if you worked with a ghostwriter. So before your writer starts, confirm that there's a written work for hire or copyright assignment agreement in place. Ideally, it should state that the copyright transfers to you upon payment. AI disclosure, you can ask your writer directly if they used AI or if you used AI tools in writing your manuscript. And that includes any part of the text, the cover or translation. And if the answer is yes, check yes in the KDP upload form. Cover image licenses. Ask your cover designer to confirm that every image used has a commercial license for a book sold on Amazon? And get the answer in writing before the cover's finalized. Manuscript content. Your writer brief should already prohibit copyrighted song lyrics, poem excerpts, and direct quotes from published works. When you do your read-through, flag anything that looks like it could be pulled from somewhere else. If you're not sure, just cut it. The rights checkbox. When you reach the publishing step that says, I own the copyright and hold the necessary publishing rights, you should be able to click it without hesitation. If any part of the first 4 items is unresolved, resolve it first. That's it, just 5 simple items. The good news is that none of this is complicated once you know where to look. You don't need a lawyer on retainer. You just need a system every time you hit publish. You just need the right contracts, the right questions to ask your team, and the right habits built into your process. Do those things from book 1 and you'll be building a profitable business on solid ground. If you want the full system, including how to hire writers correctly, how to research profitable niches, how to launch your book with real momentum, these are exactly what we teach inside Fiction Profits Academy. So click the link in the description for our free training.